The old man leaned back into his chair, deep in thought. He held a hand to his temple wearily. He'd been through a lot in the past couple of days. He'd lost his first best friend. He'd lost his last best friend. No, someone more than that. Someone who truly understood him. Someone who'd experienced firsthand the danger and loss the universe had thrown at him throughout his lives. In fact, he'd lost his own life. And yet, he was still left with so many questions. He pressed his fingers against his forehead, as if hoping somehow he could prise the answers from his mind. He was lonely now, much lonelier than he'd been in a long time. He'd seen so many of his friends recently. He smiled faintly as their faces passed across his brand new eyes. But they weren't here any longer. Just him, a fresh face, and his big blue box. The man stood up and gazed deeply into the reflection before him, the spiky hair bristling, the teeth glistening, and yet another shade of kidney. The crystalline rotor bobbed up and down above the console unit, lights flashing from the array of buttons adorning each side. He shouldn't be this tired and bedraggled, should he? After all, he'd just regenerated. A fresh new lease of life to shake off the cobwebs and... well, shake off what cobwebs? His last life was just beginning to blossom, right? Cut short too soon. And the last time that happened, well... there lies our current predicament, old girl, he sighed, his arms resting against the console. Why the old face, eh? He'd chosen new faces before, but this was something different entirely. Had he won the regeneration game? Another round with his old charmer back again? Was there a greater force at play? One which could change a Time Lord's genetic template in a heartbeat? The old curator of the Undergallery had spoken of something similar to him many lifetimes ago, revisiting a few of the old favourites. But how could something so drastic and, frankly, impossible have happened if the people who controlled it were no longer around? And why the Daleks? So soon after he'd left Gallifrey the first time round, he bumped into those plunger-wielding pepper pots, and several thousand years later he'd yet to shake them off. They seemed to follow him everywhere, and so soon after each of his regenerations too. Ah well, another of the universe's great mysteries. You could only hope that their next encounter would be a long way off. After all, this newish body had so much more to do. He grinned. Reinvigorated with a sense of purpose, the newish Doctor spun around the console, the laces of his trainers tapping against the metal floor. The lights of the control room shone brighter than ever before as he raced to the dematerialization lever. No matter what faced him, he was the same as ever. Never cruel, never cowardly, always resilient, and always kind. Onwards and forwards. He had a mystery to solve.